This episode is sponsored by Sansama. Stick around till the end of the video to learn more about it.
So, there's weather.
There sure is.
There's a cloud.
Yes, how lovely.
Okay. 2 clouds, actually. Look at that. And a sun?
Oh, I see that there's a sun.
Are we doing this right?
Hello, brains. Are you awkward like me? Yeah. A lot of ADHDers have trouble having conversations that they feel good about, especially if they're talking to somebody who doesn't have ADHD or somebody that they don't really know very well. So I asked ADHD coach and author Caroline Macguire, who partnered with me on the How to People chapter of my book, if she had any tips. She did better than tips. She shared a step-by-step guide. So in this video, Caroline and I will go over her 8 steps to start a conversation with somebody you don't know. And we did it with puppets. Step 1, greet the person. Say hello, smile, look attentive. Does that mean eye contact? Do I have to make eye contact?
Nope, you don't have to make eye contact. If you're present in the conversation, meaning my body's turned toward you, talking to you, as opposed to my back is to you. And does it happen? Yeah, there's people who talk to me and I never realize they've been talking to me. Of course.
Okay, so look like you're talking to them. So, hello.
Hello.
Doable? Step 1. All right, what's step 2? Thank you. Step 2, ask open-ended questions.
We ask open-ended questions so that we open the field for people to tell you things about themselves without being intrusive or without trying to have a specific direction that we're pushing the conversation. So the more open the question is, the more they can insert what they want to insert.
Okay.
And I like to ask people about things that are going on in the world that are not controversial. Like, what did you do this weekend? What do you think about the fact that, you know, we're having this huge event in our town? Something like that, so that I can start the conversation.
You know what? I'm going to recommend write down some open-ended questions and have those in your back pocket. So like, I think the fact that we don't have any sort of context is like tripping me up a little bit. But if we're in a place, so let's say I'm at a game store. Oh, have you played this game before?
Yes, I have. And I like it very much. Have you?
No, not yet. I was considering buying it. See, now this is going better. Okay. Step 3, build on the topic.
So if you think about it, when you add to a conversation, it's kind of like ping pong. You're saying something and I'm saying something, and we're going back and forth and it's reciprocal. So instead of thinking of it as, this is a scary thing and I have to have the perfect answer, say something, anything.
Anything.
Anything. And that way the ping pong serve is returned.
Okay, so even if I say something that's kind of awkward,
you still pass the baton back to me and I can say, oh, Jessica, that's interesting.
So let's say I went to the game store and I asked this person like, hey, have you played this game before? And we're talking about this board game. And they're like, have you? And I'm like, no, I'm considering buying it.
I would just say, you know what? I actually have played this game and it's a great game. What makes you interested? Right? So I asked you a question, I added to the topic, or I could just say, yes, I have. And you could say, what do you think of it?
What do you think of the game?
It was really interesting and I liked it, but there's things you should know.
Oh. See, now I'm interested. I'm interested, but it's still inconsequential. I thought that it had to be something I don't care about.
So you're steering the conversation towards something you're interested in. I'm going to tell you about this game, and I'm going to tell you that I would buy the extra pieces.
Ooh, there are extra pieces?
There are, and they're really useful.
My favorite color is blue. No, is that not?
And that's a left turn, right? And we totally do this with ADHD. We have these sort of offshoot conversations. But if I'm a stranger and I don't know you, I'm like, why is she saying something about blue? Right? I try to stay on topic. Does it always happen? No.
It's nice to have guidance. Sometimes on bad brain days, it's really nice to have somebody guide you through something step by step, even if it's something you normally know how to do. Speaking of which, if you have not tried Sansama, I seriously highly recommend it. The whole thing is super ADHD-friendly. If you don't know what Sansama is, it is a productivity system that helps you get stuff done without burning out. It helps you plan your day and your week so that you're making progress at the things that matter to you. I use it all the time. I will plan my week, but most of the time, what I find it super useful for is just planning my day. Just going through, filling in what things I want to get accomplished, estimating how long I think that they will take, bumping back tasks that can wait. Sansama walks you through each of these things step by step. It's a place to drop all of the tasks that you have coming from everywhere. Your calendar, project management software, email, just add that task right in. Things did not stop just because I was on maternity leave. So I'm catching up on a lot of tasks and it can be really overwhelming. And it's really easy to say, oh yeah, I'll take care of that, and then completely forget to do it. You don't have to remember to do the thing. Sensama will remind you. This is so ADHD friendly, and right now it's absolutely invaluable to me. I'm able to be on top of things in a way that I would not be if I did not have Sensama. Having a way to plan my day and plan my weeks has really been critical. And more importantly, having a system that will help me plan it step by step so that I don't have to remember how to plan my day has been incredibly helpful. If you want to try it, go to sensama.com/a/Jessica from How to ADHD. It is a free trial. They don't even take a credit card up front, so you really can see if you like it or not before committing anything. So please let me know what you think of it and what you're working on. What are your goals this week? What do you want to accomplish? And let me know how that works for you.
Listening.
Okay, listening is hard, and I'm not going to pretend we're always going to listen. Danny Donovan has a great hack for this. You make like a little twist in your finger and put it here so I can remember what it was.
Somebody taught me this. You have a thought that you assign to each finger. So like, here's one thought, here's another thought, here's another thought. One of the things I do for listening is I will let somebody know if there's something that's bouncing around in my brain. I don't have enough working memory slots to be able to hold what I want to say and what they're saying at the same time. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll say like, hey, I'm really interested in what you're saying. This deserves my full brain. Let me get this out of my head so that I can fully pay attention to you. And then I'll just write it down in my notes app.
One of the other ones I like is to say, remind me to come back to.
Oh, I've done that too.
Logistic.
And not even telling them to remind it like, ooh, that reminds me of something about this, but go on.
Right, exactly. So that
Okay.
it's out there. And then sometimes I say, hey, what did I say that I wanted you to remind me of?
Yeah.
But listening takes practice. And all of this takes practice. So practice with friends and family. Practice with people you feel comfortable with. Attempt to find your own strategies.
I practice by repeating back info.
I like that one the best because I hear it twice. Because if we don't listen, we can't really add to the conversation because we're off in our own little conversation and we might miss something that we really want to respond to or would be key information.
Active listening is a skill that needs to be built up.
I've been working on it for like 20 years.
Step 5, make supportive comments.
So supportive comments help people to understand that you're interested. It shows them that you're listening and you're empathetic. It's not a must in my book, but I think it feels good. And it's also something that you probably just do naturally. Like if someone says something about something hard, you probably naturally say something like, oh, that's hard, or oh, I understand, or I've been through that. Because otherwise they're there feeling like we normally feel, thinking, oh my God, are they caring about what I say?
In our example of at the game store, like you said something about, I would get the extra pieces. Ooh, there are extra pieces. Like that's already a supportive comment. That's me saying, hey, like you just added value. I'm interested in what you're saying, right?
Yeah, exactly.
This gives me food for thought. I'll have to think about that.
It's a nuance of the conversation to help people know that you're interested, you hear them.
If somebody just doesn't give me anything back, or if they seem like they're changing the subject, I'm not going to want to keep talking about this. And I might not want to keep talking to them.
Right. So in our game store analogy, right, if I say, and there are extra pieces, and you don't say anything, I'm like, okay, I guess she doesn't care. I'll go over here. I will stop talking.
Right.
Right? Maybe not that dramatic, but I think it really helps people feel heard.
6, nonverbal signals. Okay, so it's not enough to just talk about what do we say with our mouths, but also like with our body language, right?
Now, I know this isn't easy and this isn't something that comes easily to us, but this is sort of best practices. This is what we can do. And so we can pay attention to the nonverbal signals and we can try to telegraph how we feel with nonverbal signals.
Thankfully, I don't have any arms.
Having a more of a welcoming stance that lets people know that I'm interested and I'm welcoming to talk to you. Yawning might be...
What if I'm tired?
I was just going to say, I'm sure everyone's going to be like, I've seen Caroline yawn. Yes, we all do things at times. But maybe if we could avoid yawning, crossing your arms is something that kind of is less than welcoming and it actually sets some people off. So I used to be a person who always crossed my arms and I have like worked not to cross my arms anymore.
There's a trick though. If you go to talk to somebody whose arms are crossed, if you cross your arms and then uncross them, it can prompt them to do the same. So just signs that you're interested.
Yeah, signs that you're interested and look for signs that they're interested.
This probably doesn't look like I want to keep talking to you, does it?
No, it does not look like you want to keep talking.
7, bridging comments.
You're encouraging someone to talk more about something. So, for instance, if you say something and I'm like really interested and you keep talking, I might be like, oh, whoa, go back. Tell me more about that. And that way, you know I'm interested in that topic.
Danny Donovan has a great way of doing this. If I'm talking about something that she thinks is interesting, she'll be like, ooh, subscribe.
Oh, I like that.
Like, I would like to subscribe to your newsletter.
Exactly. I would love to know more. That's a way, too, that now I'm encouraging you to talk about topics I want to talk about. Exactly. So it's bridging from one topic to another. It's helping me to encourage me to talk about something that is really interesting of all of the things you said.
Wait, how is it moving from one topic to another? If I say I would love to know more, tell me more about that, that seems like we're staying on the same topic.
Well, what if you said a bunch of stuff? Like, what if you talked about, like, you were like, I am really interested in Dungeons and Dragons, and I went on a trip to a farmer's market, and I have a new baby. And I'm like, Dungeons and Dragons, what? I can be like, hey, you mentioned Dungeons and Dragons. Tell me more about that, right? Because sometimes people say a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And where my little frog gets excited is when it's something I want to talk about. So you're steering the conversation.
This is going to sound ridiculous, but I didn't know that I could do that. I thought it was just like, okay, start a conversation, and then I am stuck listening to whatever it is that they feel like talking about. And 8, practice without perfection.
It doesn't have to be right. It just has to be something we try. I like to practice on people that we already know, who you feel safe with. I also try to practice out in the real world, but have that practice mindset. I'm just trying to do this because the more you do it, the more comfortable you are.
Hey, Caroline.
Hey, Jessica.
You're stuck in my studio. So
we can practice.
I am cautious about starting up a conversation with somebody if I don't know how to get out of that conversation.
Sure, I totally get it.
Without being rude or without triggering somebody else's rejection sensitivity. Wait. How to exit the conversation. So let's say I'm at this game store talking to this person and I would like to be done now because I realize I need to get home or I just am bored.
This happens to me all the time. You can say something like, I like to have these phrases in my back pocket and I just pull them up. Forgive me for being abrupt, but I have to go. I'm so sorry. Or glad to hear you're doing well. It's so good to see you. And then you start to move away. Say anything. It's nice to see you.
Or it's nice to meet you if this is something you've never...
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
People understand because people are busy.
Okay, I like this one. The forgive me for being abrupt. Like, I realize that I'm cutting our conversation short. Forgive me for that, but I gotta go. So in my situation at the game store, it would be something like, well, thank you so much for telling me about that. I appreciate it. I'm really glad that we met.
Right.
That I will say is helpful. If you put things in the past tense, like, I'm glad we chatted. Not I'm glad we're chatting. That implies that we're going to continue chatting. I'm glad that this happened in the past because it is no longer happening.
And I think, again, the more you practice this, the less you will feel that you are in the middle of this situation. You don't know what to do. You know, you don't want to be rude, but you have to go.
What if you want to keep knowing this person, though? Like, you felt this person out and you're like, I would actually like to be friends with this person. How do you exit the conversation then?
If you have something like the game store, you could say, I would love to hear, your expertise on this topic and let's chat further. You could also talk to them about an activity that they've talked about and say, hey, I will try that yoga class. Or, you know what? I think you're right. I should come to Friday night, comedy night, because you've sold it so well. And then you can continue without being creepy and sort of saying, like, I'm now going to assume we're friends forever, and see what their signals are. They might be saying things to you as well.
I'm so glad we chatted about this.
Thanks for chatting.
Is there anything we missed? Let us know in the comments below. Oh, thanks to our brain advocates and all our Patreon brains for supporting this video and also helping us choose the puppets. We do fun polls over at Patreon. If you're one of our supporters, go check those out. If you'd like to be one of our supporters, you get to vote on fun things like what puppets to use or what videos are coming out next. I will link the information to that in the description below. Any support you can throw our way, we're going to do really cool things with this year and next year and for all of the years. We're going to make as much content for the ADHD community as we can because the mission mission of everything that we do here at How to ADHD is to support people with ADHD and other executive function challenges to be who they are and achieve what they want to achieve. If you want to help us do that, we'd love that. Thank you. If you'd like to learn more about how to make conversation, Caroline shared a free resource that you can download. I will link to that in the description below on how to make chit chat. You can also follow her YouTube channel. She's doing some really, really amazing things in this space, trying to help us make friends. And she's definitely helped me make friends. Hopefully she can be helpful for you as well. Let's all start some conversations. Combat this loneliness epidemic. Have you heard about that? You know, that being happy is like really contingent on being able to socialize. Have you heard that? Have you heard that?
I have heard that.
Have you heard that?
Have you heard that?
Have you heard that? Have you heard that?
In my personal space.
Like, subscribe, click all the things, and we will see you next video. Bye, brains!